everybody. Happy New Week. I hope you're doing amazing. And next week, we can see we have got our gorgeous, recently hot off the press author, Alison Ward. Good morning, Alison.
Hello.
Thank you. Yeah, there she is, the author of The Corporate Creative, that you can see there. And we're here to talk about insights in that particular book. Alison went through our publishing process, and she's been part of like lots of our support calls and actually the online portal as well. So you kind of took the route, you know, not the traditional come to retreat, everything end to end done, but you were very self-disciplined in completing an online portal program all on your own. When the book was ready, then you came into our book accelerator membership, which in turn took care of the publishing package. So yeah, I'm very impressed when people finish the program that way, because not many people do. That's the reality of it, unless they get the whiz bang full all inclusive hand holding. Yeah, so welcome to this morning's interview. So guys, I'm going to give you Alison's introduction, and then we're going to get stuck into it. So she wrote The Corporate Creative, 5 influential ways to build your creativity. So Alison Ward is a remarkable, multi-talented professional with a career spanning over 30 years. Her journey is a testament to the transformative power of creativity, resilience, and lifelong learning. Alison's story begins with her early passion for design, nurtured while working in her family's decorating business after high school. However, in 1994, her life took a challenging turn with diagnosis of Hodgkin's lymphoma. She courageously fought the illness twice, embarking on a healing journey where creativity became her lifeline. Her artistic pursuits during recovery not only aided her healing, but also inspired discussions among fellow patients. Alison's hobby evolved into a passionate career in design, specializing in painting, drawing, teaching, and kitchen design. Her love for holistic remedies played a crucial role in her recovery. Driven by a commitment to education, Alison pursued an undergraduate degree in contemporary fine arts and a master's in teaching. She has since shared her knowledge with thousands of students, both in government schools and through leadership roles in educational programs. And now in 2020, Alison launched her small business, Artistic Innovations, aiming to bring the transformative power of creativity to a wider audience and promote spiritual wellness through art. As her professional journey evolves, Alison remains dedicated to the belief that creativity and holistic practices can enhance well-being. Her story is truly inspiring, highlighting the profound impact of creativity in overcoming challenges and promoting lifelong wellness. All right, let's get stuck into the conversation about your amazing book. I'm going to show you guys just a little bit of a close-up picture of what the book looks like, so you can see it bigger on the screen. There it is, The Corporate Creative. So maybe let's start, Alison. Where did the name come from? You know, why did you call it The Corporate Creative? And then we'll talk about how you went about writing it and all that.
I think because in my career, I've been able to work in various different sectors. So I've been, currently my role is in the education sector. However, I've been part of manufacturing, I've been part of retail sales, I've been part of mentoring and coaching. So I've had various different roles in my career as well. And so when I look at all of that and I think, well, how do I bundle the whole aspect of the different areas that I've been involved in? And literally every single aspect of my career has had some element of creativity into it. And I think it's something that is underestimated in our business world and in our education sector. And I find myself more and more being confronted with people that just completely say and dismiss any creative ideas that they have about themselves or their potential in their team. I'm not that creative. I don't know how to do this. I can't do that. And it's all this negativity around this particular crucial aspect. And in my research and doing the book, CEOs across the globe, Gallup, the Morgan Gallup poll actually stated 60% of CEOs, their number one thing that they're looking for in their interviews is people with creativity. So it just makes sense to be able to redefine what that looks like for everybody. and then tap into some of those key strengths, because we all have it. We're all born with it.
I do agree with that. I think often we hear sometimes in writing books, people can say, I'm not that creative, or, I can't write and all that kind of stuff. Whereas we know they can if they were given the tools.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long had you been thinking about writing this book, and
I've been thinking about it for quite a while, because I have endured a really serious illness twice now. My mortality sort of came to the front of my being very early on in my 20s, and I can remember thinking, okay, well, as I continue forward in my life, I'm just wanting to get through next week. I'm just wanting to get through next month. And then as time gave me confidence, I was able to then actually bridge that gap and start planning for a future. And so when I was really, really ill, even though I enjoyed art and I did it at school, it was one of my number one things that on my bucket list, that I really wanted to engage into some art. And when I look back now, it was a therapeutic approach. So I joined a class and I started painting. And miraculously, I was able to have 3 children naturally after my transplant. And I painted my kids, and that started my legacy of, well, I can't guarantee I'll always be here tomorrow. So therefore, I want to leave some sort of legacy that's really, really strong for my family. So I painted all of their portraits when they were babies to make sure that there was something that I could leave. Most of the time, if we have photographs, generations down the track, they might get lost in the back of the cupboard. Whereas a painting, sometimes people will actually really treasure the painting and the artwork. And so that's really where it started. So I've always thought about writing a book as well. I wanted my kids to understand what happened before they were born, and that they are miraculous in being here. So that's where it all started. And creativity is just something that I have come across all the way through my career now. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, paintings, I can imagine if someone in your family created it, that you wouldn't throw it out,
No.
and neither would you throw out a book. That's what I often say to people when I write a book. Your family's not, it's going to get passed on through the generations, and they can talk about your great grandma wrote this and all that sort of stuff. So there are, as they say, there are immortality projects, and art is one of those things as well.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. And tell us a little bit about what will people get from getting a book like this. And
well, when we go back to when I stated about people having a little bit of fear of being creative, the idea is to actually remove the blocks and the barriers. This isn't actually everybody's fault. What we do know in social learning theories, Piaget came up with a stage 2 social learning theory that we learn through signs and symbols. And if we don't reprogram ourselves through that process, we actually revert back to that stage of development. So Nat, I'm going to ask you to do a little exercise for me if you can.
Yeah. Because this is what do we call this syndrome? I can't draw syndrome?
Yeah, I can't draw syndrome. So every time I meet a class member or students in my class or whatever, I always get the kids that say, I can't draw, I can't do this, I can't do stick figures. And there's a reason why.
Okay, what do I need to do? I've got the piece of paper and I've got the pen.
I love it. First question is, have you ever been trained in the arts?
No.
Excellent. Well, I generally then have about an 85 to 90% success rate of being able to predict what you are about to draw.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got 20 seconds to do each little drawing.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, draw me a house.
Okay.
Okay, draw me a car.
Oh, God. Everyone should be doing this at home if you're watching this interview.
3,
and if you're watching it on a replay, you can pause it and go
2,
get a paper.
1.
All right.
Finish your card.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, draw me a star.
A star. Okay. Done.
Okay, draw me a cat.
A cat. Oh God.
And draw me a landscape, your final drawing.
A landscape.
Yep, anything that comes first to your mind.
Okay. That's it. Done.
Okay, excellent. So before I start predicting what you've drawn,
Yes.
okay, I'm hoping that the audience were able to hear your commentary, because that's actually the brain telling you, I don't have memory, I've got to go back. So you kept saying, oh God.
Yeah.
Then you repeated it to clarify. You said, oh God, 3 times.
Yes.
Which means that you were a little bit panicked in the process of what I was asking you to do.
Yes. Yes.
That is the natural reaction for most who don't have any form of training or reprogramming in the arts. So the first drawing I asked you to do was a house. Before you hold it up,
yes.
or don't hold anything up at this stage, just tell me yes or no. Does your house consist of squares, rectangles, and triangles?
Of course. Yes.
Okay, tick. Does your car, does it have circles and is drawn side on?
Of course. Yes.
Okay. Your star is either triangles or made up of lines?
Yes.
Okay. Your cat will be drawn front on with a circle for a head, triangles for ears, and maybe a circle for a body. Am I close?
Yeah, close. Yeah.
Okay. And your landscape may be a number of different varieties. So I'm going to give you a couple of options. You may have done a landscape of, say, for example, a countryside that has these arcs in it. There may be a small circle at the top with the sunshine, and there may be some sort of structure for a tree. Could be that one. Other people go into a starscape and do an atmosphere like with lots of stars in it. And another group of people will do like a tundra as landscape with pine trees and triangles. Right. So the commonality of all of your drawings are all about symbols. Do you want to hold it up on the screen so we can have a look?
Here we go. Here's yeah.
And you can see exactly those now. Now, you haven't seen the images in my book that refer to those, have you?
No, because I haven't had a chance to like look through everything.
So it's nice to sort of tell the year 7 and 8 kids that I'm telepathic, but I'm not. And it comes back down to our stages of development. So if we don't reprogram, which you haven't done, you haven't had any extra drawing experience, we then revert back to those symbols in our childhood. And so often if you gave that exercise, which is a really fun icebreaker in team building scenarios, you'll find that nearly every adult draws exactly the same thing. And then we look at those symbols and say, well, that's drawing, but it's really not. It's a development stage. So it starts to remove the shift and remove the barrier. It allows people to know that we're all the same in this. We've all developed it the same way. Some of us have just had further experience and others haven't. So we call that the I can't draw syndrome. So thanks for doing that for me.
Oh, that was fun. It's good. I didn't want you to tell me what was going to happen, and I'm glad I didn't see that part of the book because it wouldn't have been real. So and I can imagine that we talk about imprinting, and this is kind of, as you say, because we everything we learn to believe or value, whatever it is, between 0 and 7, right? And usually that's the stages that we would learn how to draw. So what you're saying is that if we want to, and this is why maybe we feel like we can't draw, because we can always we've always just if we didn't practice or learn further, we just stopped at that type of drawing. So you keep thinking, is that right? Am I saying?
Yes, that's correct. So these are all symbols representing an idea. We know that a star actually doesn't look like what you've drawn, but it is our symbol of a star. That our houses don't often look the way that you've drawn them now, but that is our symbol for them. So between the age of 3 and 7, we develop through symbols. When we don't reprogram our brain goes back to all of those memories. And that's when your dialogue came out of, oh God, it's the brain going back trying to find
Right. Yeah.
what you've done in the past to be able to draw that image. So it's a really fascinating way. And once people sort of understand that it's actually not their fault, it's just a matter of development, and then we can start to reprogram. So it leaves us to be a little bit more vulnerable. We know that we need to be able to reprogram things in our brains to further advance creativity. We need to put some of those things aside, those securities, and those symbols are our securities, and be a little bit more open then, and a little bit more generous in the way that we develop our creativity, and we need to nurture it through as well. So having a great mentor to help you move through some of those blocks and those barriers is essential. And I think, in any business building, that's what the mentor is for as well. It's the same with creativity.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you've got something shuffling on your desk, but it's bringing up really loud noise. So just letting you know, that was there in the beginning and disappeared, but yeah, stay still.
Okay, I'm staying still.
No, you're good. So what you're saying is, to move past this, obviously we need to invest time, effort, learning from people who have got that experience, and that's some of the things that you do in some of your classes. Is that right?
That is correct, yeah. And often too, if we're leading teams as well, if we've got some of those own inhibitions about our own level of creativity, we can actually impart those onto the people that we work with. So we really do have to also invest in self and look at, okay, let's take down some walls and some barriers. Let's investigate where I am realistically with my own ability and my own creativity. What can I do to assist myself so that I can then assist others? So building trust with your team and the person that you're working with is really critical. It's number one. It's fostering the relationships that you have and being able to continue to mindfully pull people along or build them up from the bottom up as well. It's setting the goals. So it's the same as any other business as well, just setting those key goal targets to be able to allow people to come forth with their creative ideas. It's to be open to diversity. And so the idea of having lots of different people coming from lots of different walks of life, with different cultures, different backgrounds, and not rejecting any of them. And then to develop and continue to develop those creative aspects of it. So if I look back to the time when I was very, very ill, really, in a sense, we had one way of Western medicine, and then there was all of these other Eastern medicine approaches. And I look at that and I think, well, if I had have just solely stuck with one thing based on statistics, and I don't feel I would have made a wholesome recovery. I accepted everything. I accepted the mentorship and guidance of other people in Eastern medicines. I used to juice a lot. I used to do mindful drawing as well to keep my brain sort of contained, because things are going all over the place at that stage. And I just feel that not only in health, it also imparts a way for us to build our confidence in our business aspects too. So we're always reinventing ourselves. I think if we stay stuck in just one way of thinking, we really close the doors on the opportunities that are possible.
Yeah. So do you believe some of your beliefs are, having art as part of your, I guess, help or aid in giving juice to creativity within people's lives?
Art is just, yes and no. Art is just one factor. I mean, we can all be creative in our own ways. So, for example, when you're setting up, your business aspects at the moment, and you've got Zoom happening and Facebook, and then you've got your team behind you, you're still being creative. You're still thinking of new ways of doing things all the time. So art for me was just one method of being able to contain mindfulness and stop and focus for a bit. And then, I enhanced my skills, but that could come in any sort of way. That, creativity can come in orienteering. You might be a bushwalker. And so, there's lots of different ways that we can be creative. Mine's just in art, that's all.
Yeah. Another word for creativity is really problem solving, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Innovation, problem solving, overcoming challenges. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. And so, what? I mean, I don't know. Maybe through your discussion, you've already covered them off. But you talk about there are 5 influential ways to build creativity. Did you
Yeah.
list them out? Did I kind of miss them, or like I like when people say number 1, number 2, number 3.
I did leak them out, but that's okay. We can go with them again.
Give us the list, so maybe if someone's taking notes at home, they can
Yeah,
write them down.
absolutely. So the first thing is, by doing the drawing skill that I gave you, it's actually lowering and dropping the idea of the I can't. So we want to lower those barriers. So number 1 is to build trust. So you had trust in me guiding you through that experience,
Yeah.
as small as it is, and that's okay. But you built some trust with me, and I built some trust with you to let you know that I wasn't going to let you fall on your face with that.
Oh, yeah.
That I could predict what you were going to do, and it's perfectly normal. So building trust, number 1. Number 2 is fostering the relationship. So you won't build trust with people if you haven't got that sort of grounding, that relationship first as well. So it's a number 1 key thing. Listen to them. Have a chat, but listen. Listening is our greatest guidance, I think, in life, rather than talking all the time. Number 3 is set some clear goals for yourself and for your team, so that everybody has an achievable thing to get to. So, even in that little exercise, my goal is to get you to draw 5 key things, and I'm going to support you along the way, and then tell you the result in the end. So having the clear goals as well. Number 4 is being open to diversity. And so you come into this discussion with a range of drawing skills. And then you may have creativity in other ways, and you bring culture to that. And so being open to diversity, absolutely number 1 key in being able to build that relationship as well. And then number 5 is to develop and to continue to sustain your own creativity. So even when the chips are down and things aren't going perhaps so well, being able to pick yourself up and go, you know what, no, let's keep moving forward, let's keep designing, let's keep thinking, and bring your team along with you as well. So really nurturing and fostering that.
Nice. Beautiful. So now let's move on to talking about how did you manage to obviously amazingly complete our program so self-reliant, going to the online portal, and then you came into the membership, which took care of your publishing package, and you've just got the book. So what were some of your strategies to stay on track and be self-accountable?
I followed your directions. I trusted and placed myself in absolutely what you gave me, and it was explicit. It was step by step. I didn't have any problems following that, and I suppose I have a self-belief because I had the drive, and it meant a lot to me personally to get my story started. And I know it's only the beginning. I know that I'll probably do a lot of other books along the way as well. And I found it hard, though, to direct it to a particular target audience, but I now know that what that audience looks like.
Yes.
And I think if you're living your book every day to day thing, I think it's a lot easier to write. Yeah. I've done a lot of research in my career. I use my research day to day. And so following the step-by-step process that you gave me was absolutely instrumental. And I did set aside the time. I mimicked what you would do with the retreats that everybody would go to. Yes. I didn't do 3 days, though. I had to say I did 2 days. Yes. And talk about smash it out. Well, it got smashed. And I just, pulled myself away, shut the doors to the office. I imagined I was on my retreat, which I was, because it was a break away from my regular job and my regular work day, and everybody supported me with that. And I think that's the key too. It's not us just in this writing a book. It's a team. You have a team behind you in your business. Your team in your household is so important as well. And when you've got everyone on board and they understand the importance of what you're trying to do, I think that is also helpful. I emailed countless times, Viv, Julie, yourself, and always got the responses that I needed and the clarity. Yeah. I couldn't always find everything that I needed, but initially first, but and that was my techie thing, not anybody else's problem. So, but always guided then to the next bit, and had questions, problems solved, questions answered, and it just made the process so easy. And the only thing is that I feel like I would have really loved the camaraderie of being involved in the whole retreat. So that's what I miss. But
I know in the future, this is
I know, it's sitting there, don't worry.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So what are some of the things you want to do as a result of this book now being launched out there into the world? Talk to me about those. And while you're talking through, I'll just show people around a little bit on your website. So before you, I'll just share the URL where you can find Alison's website, guys. Here it is on the screen. It's called myartisticinnovations.com only. Okay, myartisticinnovations.com. And she's got quite an elaborate website when I went to have a bit of a look.
Oh, no.
I love it. There's the book on the shop tab that you can see there. And of course, she's got many other products in her retreats here. So talk to me a little bit more about all of those things that you do, Alison.
So we do creative art kits as well. So I have 3 suppliers that I work with for art supplies with various different products. And I think sometimes my thought is that some people just don't know where to start. So we've actually been able to kit up things together. And then I do markets as well to be able to give demonstrations about how people can use these kits as well. So it sort of, again, removes the barriers, the I don't know how, and people start to take that themselves. And we have them also geared up for various different levels of creativity and whatnot. So I've just specialised in art, that's all. And then we do our retreats. So we've run a couple of retreats now, one for adults, one for children as well, which has been great and well received. And it's been a day of mindfulness, basically. And again, we remove some of those blocks and barriers and get people working towards their best creative ability that they can be. I run regular classes now after my regular job. So I'm working 2 jobs at the moment, but one day it won't be like that. And
you're looking to transition fully into...
Yes. But I've had to be very calculated about the process and the timing. So I now have got my full studio up and running now. And I run Thursday night workshops there as well. And I love the feedback from the strategies that I can give my participants, and they're doing really, really well. And then we've got our book as well, which is there on our website too. So lots of different things on there. I do artwork myself and sell my prints too. So I know it's a lot. And I think that was probably the complicated thing. I have overcomplicated my starting point with you, Nat, as well, because I had so many creative ideas, and it was like, whoa, they're all shooting off. And where do I start and what do I do? But I have to say the structure that your team have given for a highly creative individual like myself has been able to sort of pull it all back in and go, okay, point 1, we do this, then we do this, then we do this. And it's really easy. So, yeah.
And, taking a lot of action, I often say clarity comes from action. So you've taken a lot of action, put a lot of things out there, and you'll now suss out over a period of time what are the things that are really resonating with people that they want from you. And that's kind of where you'll probably put more of your focus and rinse and repeat that more and fine tune it. But at the beginning of anything, you do put a lot of, cast a lot of nets and see which one would work. And I can say honestly, I mean, how long have you been in our community? 18 months or?
Yeah, 18 months. Yep.
18 months. I've seen you create so much and grow so much and complete the project on your own and build out this business, and the offers that you've got on there. And, there's a lot of infrastructure you have set up, often people don't see, however, say any financial gain when that infrastructure building stage, but then it starts to go really fast at one point once the relationships are built.
Yeah.
You know, the awareness is out there and all that kind of stuff, and then people go, oh, where did you come from? Like, oh, you're so lucky, but you've been doing hard work for a few years, right?
It has, and a great team of people around me as well.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah. And
valuable.
absolutely, I agree. One of our authors from the US, she wrote a book, The Art of the Mentor, and she's an artist, Susan, and she talked about how important it was to have mentors, and she only picked up a paintbrush at the age of 50, and she had very, she's exhibited in very famous exhibitions all over the world and all that sort of stuff. So you can learn at any stage and be professionally guided, like people like yourself. Yeah,
absolutely.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all your wisdom and that fun exercise. I always love when someone gets me to do something, because I learned something about myself as well. And hopefully some of you guys, Jules was saying, I do love my pictures. Pauline saying fantastic, Alison, and that quite a few people have been watching and following this. So if you guys love to get a copy of Alison's book, go to myartisticinnovations.com and look up her shop page, and the book is there, or I'm pretty sure it's also available on all your good online retailers that you can find it on. So so you can go on the Amazon and all that sort of stuff if you want to as well. So I appreciate your time this morning, Alison.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully we get to see each other, meet each other in real life. I've just locked in our Christmas 10-year celebration party early December. So so I'll be letting a lot of our community know when that's all happening. So hopefully I'll get meet you in real life, because we've been Zooming, yet we're in the same city.
I know, it's crazy. 18 months of Zooming.
Yeah, I know. All right, guys, have an awesome week ahead and go and smash it out. Bye.